This episode of L.A. Meekly is sponsored by Heart Soul Heat, the creators of Ghost Honey, a 100% American-made hot honey. It's a ghost pepper-infused raw honey. It's great on pizza and fried chicken. They sent some of us to us, and I tried it earlier, and it is really good. Like some of the best honey and very hot. You have not tried it yet.
No, I have a spoon sitting in front of me right now, and you said...
I put it into your spoon like a little bit of heroin. You have not tried it. Again, I feel like this is like P.T. Barnum here. Like, you have not tried this honey. This man has not tried this honey.
This young man I pulled from the audience has not met me before.
So you are going to tell us how good and how hot it is right now, live on the air.
Okay.
Try that honey.
Let everyone know that in my trigger finger, I also have a mint ready.
Because we don't have water.
I'm about to eat the hot honey from Heart Soul Heat. Here we go. Very good. Very tasty. Oh, there it is. Yep. Oh, man. That is spreading through my body.
There's steam flying out of Greg's ears.
Oh, my God. That's hot. Oh, my God.
You're not a hot person. I'm a hot person. This is a good heat. It is strong, and it tastes very good.
It's very tasty.
Eat the mint, Greg. Eat the mint.
And
you're bleeding out of your armpits right now.
I feel like if I put my tongue on a surface, the surface will get warm.
You'd put it towards an ice cube, and the ice cube would melt away as you were trying to get to it.
Oh,
so this is, you got a live tasting here of Heart Soul Heat, and they are offering fans of L.A. Meekly 50% off your first order with the code LA at heartsoulheat.com. Use promo code LA, Heart Soul Heat.
Give me a little bit more. Hi there.
Hi there.
And welcome to L.A. Meekly Studios / an empty classroom at a certain university. This is episode 95 of our Mighty Meekly podcast. The podcast that'll have you saying, you sound like you're indoors very far away from your home right now. And I am.
You sound like you're afraid someone's going to walk in on you.
Both sides. I think we're between two doors, and there's we're waiting for janitors to come in with like a switchblade. We told you to get.
And then we try to go out the other door, and it's an alligator. Yeah,
that's a crocodile.
We're in one door is an alligator. We back away, and another one's a crocodile.
Trying to remember all the facts we learned. One of them has spikes on his back,
and then a caiman falls from the ceiling, and we don't know what to do with that.
This is just more information now.
We really are on a college campus. But yeah, this is our first episode back in our recording studio.
It's very generous, and we're happy that the cast and crew are all ready to go.
Yeah, our whole cast and crew are here. Yeah. They've all been tested.
Yeah, they're literally getting tested right now.
And I like to think they would pass.
The power of positivity. They're passing the power of positivity.
The Big Bad Voodoo Daddies came to join us. Why didn't the Big Bad Voodoo Daddies have like a whole, like when they were encouraging everyone to get tested for COVID, why didn't we tap into the power of the Big Bad Voodoo Daddies to pull America together?
Yeah.
I like to think that I've never been tested, but I like to think if I would pass however it goes. Actually, I'm the one who's never been tested. You've been tested.
I've been tested.
But I do like to think I would pass.
I love the male reboot of Never Been Kissed, which has never been tested. You're 65 and everyone's talking about their COVID tests. I want to lose
my C card.
Whoever's left of civilization by the time you're 65. Yeah. This guy over here, he remembers the nasal test. Yeah, well,
they still do those. I only do the accurate ones, which they go through the gills that we've all evolved to have, like the Mariner and Waterworld. This is the November episode. Before we get into anything, let's welcome our new Patreon people.
Yes, let's do that.
So we've got new this month.
Yes.
This is another person who, as with most people, I assume they are your relative, because I can't believe anyone would give us money that isn't related to you.
Right.
But there's been a few so far that, like, you can't fault me for thinking this person's related to you. We've got David Gonzalez.
You might be related to me. I have so many family members. If you're not, welcome aboard.
If you give money to L.A. Meekly Patreon, you might be related to Greg.
Hi, David. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, David. And then we have Cindy Zachney upped her pledge.
Oh,
so
cool.
That deserves another. Is she related to you?
Yeah, she's really. We're pretty deep.
I'm Nay Zachney. And then our final new Patreon person, which, I mean, like, why am I even attempting? Of course I'm going to pronounce this name wrong, but I have to
say it fast.
Aranza Gallegos. I think I got the last name well, but the first one, it has a T and an X, and I can't, like, those names that it's like XOCH. I've heard it before, and I cannot pronounce it, and I love the name, but like I cannot pronounce it. Whenever I see someone someone with that name and I have to like address them like, is this you? So yeah, that's you. That's just a slice of my life. I'm just telling you my daily life is like, so that's Aranza Gallegos.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Please tell me how to pronounce your name. So before we get into this month, let's talk about something we did in the month of October.
Sure. Me, my beautiful girlfriend Ada, and our baby, Ringo, the dog. We all went to Idle Hour because they let dogs in there, and it was incredible.
Well, they better let dogs in. There's a
There's
giant
a big dog in the back, and he's
you're gonna deny him and not his guy? And he's
this
smoking a pipe? You tell me I can't smoke?
The dog's advertising tamales and ice cream. I don't see any tamales. I don't see any ice cream. But it's if you love drinking inside of a barrel like I do, it's a fantastic place. It was really great. We had great drinks there. We went for happy hour, so it was reasonable. We went midday, so we were able to get a seat. I don't know how it is usually at night. I imagine it's a little bit crazier.
Very crazy.
Yeah, but we went just before our comedy parents celebrated their marriage. Right. They got married. Congratulations to Chris and Cindy.
Chris and Cindy Crittenden Aravina.
Yay!
They both are swapping names.
They only go by their last names now.
That place, the Idle Hour, because from the front it looks like a barrel, but I kept hearing
say it like so matter-of-factly again. From the front it looks like a barrel.
Now let me show you these slides, because I always heard like that dog that's smoking a pipe and sells tamales, it's the Idle Hour. I'm like, that looks like a barrel. That doesn't look like a dog.
That's two things. How dare you be two things?
But it's weird that it's like in the backyard. Why would they build, like, they have a crazy structure and then they built an even crazier structure in front of it? What's crazier than a dog smoking a pipe? A barrel.
It's a narrative. The dog smoking a pipe lives in the barrel.
The dog just went over Niagara Falls. And to celebrate,
he used to wear this barrel as pants like an old-timey cartoon.
Do they, like, can you go in the dog? Inside of a dog, it's too hard to read. But can you?
You can go inside of the dog. It's got a little table and some
so
seats.
it's like a romantic suite
inside the dog. It's a romantic suite. Yes, inside of the dog.
As Groucho Marx said, inside of a dog, it's a romantic honeymoon suite. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Which part?
A dog going over right Niagara Falls in a barrel.
No, I want to go to the restaurant that's inside of a dog, but there's a smaller barrel inside. That makes more sense to me that dogs see barrels.
But what's behind the dog? Well, you want to hear my thing that I did?
I guess. You wrote it down.
My thing is, it's the Music Road in Lancaster, which I was telling you a little bit about.
You did.
Just so you know how to get there, you go to Lancaster, and on the road where you get in and out of Lancaster.
Are these directions?
Mostly out of Lancaster. These are directions.
Is this what you think directions are?
Take the road to Lancaster.
Get off the freeway when it says Lancaster.
Look, the streets are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you get off at G, and
you thought that would be hard? Oh, get off on G.
What? You get off on my. You get off my G. You get off on G and make a left, and you go, and then like a quarter of a mile or so, you get to the Music Road. Which, if you don't know what it is, it's like a quarter of a mile long. But the pavement on the left-hand lane, if you go like 55 miles per hour, the pavement is textured so that when you're driving over it, it plays the Lone Ranger theme song. If you're going 55 miles per hour,
that's
and
incredible.
we were going, and we're like, where is this thing?
Yeah.
Like, are we doing it wrong?
Down? Yeah.
Do I not have tires on my car again? But then we got to it, and all of a sudden it's like, da na 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 na, and it was so exciting. It was so much fun. I could have gone for 10 miles on the Lone Ranger theme song road.
Motorcycles and horses not welcome.
Ironically, the Lone Ranger would not have a good time on this road, because I once saw it on Huell Hauser, and we happened to be in Lancaster for the one time I happened to be around Lancaster, and it was it's really fun.
I can only imagine how Huell Hauser took it.
Lost his mind.
This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hanging his head out the window like the Joker again. Is it just me, or is this world getting more musical?
Cop car, it's swaying all over the place to catch all the notes.
Yeah, there's like fires all around him, and there's people wearing Huell Hauser masks.
He's handcuffed, but he loves it. Neat.
The kink. I could say almost hands down, most fun thing to do in Lancaster.
Probably, yeah. What, you don't like meth? I don't know how much meth
most
is in Lancaster.
Most addicting thing you can do in Lancaster. I can say that with confidence.
Music Row. Is it row or road?
Road, not music. Yeah, it's a road. Like, you know,
Cormac McCarthy,
it's Cormac McCarthy the road was about this.
It was about the Lone Ranger. Yeah, he never said it, but it's implied that it's about the Lone Ranger.
It was about you drive down the Lone Ranger road and then you get eaten by cannibals. That's what happens in the road.
Every time someone tells me I haven't read The Road, every time I hear someone talk about it, I find out new information of what people. Oh, it's a man and his son on the post-apocalyptic. Oh, I didn't know there were zombies. Okay, not zombies, cannibals. Sorry.
Yeah,
I equate the two sometimes, but they're not the same.
Well, what is a zombie if not a dead cannibal?
The hunger to eat people was there before.
But look, Greg, this isn't October. We're not here to talk about zombies. It's November.
Yes, it is.
Happy
November.
Happy Halloween candy discount day. Although there's like no Halloween supplies because of the shipping issues.
Right. We'll get that all in January.
Hey, if Halloween happens like full blast in January for a second time, count me in. I will work at the docks 24/7 to help out to make that happen. I will get crushed.
It's been a cold winter, but I'm waiting for these Reese's Pieces any day.
The SS Snickers is coming into the port of Los Angeles, and they need help unloading.
The SS Twix broke in half. One half sank, and the other half just kind of floating.
Our sister ship. This episode. So we've been talking about it for months. The whole city's been a buzz. We've been asking you, dear listener, to answer a question and send us in your answer, which we are going to get into. To refresh what the question was, it was a question from one of our listunders from Down Unders, Greased Weasel.
Hey, Greased Weasel. He's not a ska band. He's a guy.
He is but a mortal. His question was, in full, why Los Angeles? Of all the towns and cities in the world, what is it about your city that you love? I don't care about restaurants or art galleries as an answer, important though they are. I want to know what the things that bind you to the place, the things that are so elemental to your understanding of L.A. as home that it is hard for you to even conceive of yourselves being anywhere else. So that's his close quote. I thought it was such a good question that it would have been wasted on just hearing us you and me answer it at the end of an episode about like the greatest manhole covers of Los Angeles.
I know a couple good ones. I have a favorite already.
There's this one that says Made in India. I really like that one. So we decided to build a whole one of our annual listener submitted answer episodes around this. So this is going to be a more free form episode. You're going to hear from not just us, but what from many of our listeners have to say about that. And there were a lot of crossover in a lot of these answers. So I tried
as there usually is.
Yeah. So I tried to, why can't everyone have a unique opinion? That's what I keep demanding.
Someone said that already. Try again.
Wrong answer. So many bounce back emails of wrong answer that people got. So I tried to group these all together based on a general theme, which don't worry, I have subdivided all into their own categories. I know we said this is a free form episode, but come on.
Daniel doesn't believe in free form at all. You would not survive in the jazz world. I'm sorry. It's not for you. Charlie Parker is playing and you're just like tapping your watch.
Yeah, I'm the band leader at the front, like stomping my foot trying to get him on beat. There's all these subdivided categories, and then there's a few that didn't fit into any category that I sort of scattered throughout. So we're going to go first. Who wants to, do you want to go or me? Is yours the idle hour? Is that your?
That was actually, I misread the question.
Because mine's the music road.
I thought he said only restaurants and art galleries. I messed up real bad. You go first.
Okay. So here's of course my family's here, blah, 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 blah.
I don't like them though. Yeah.
But they've only bought 4 calendars from me. So this is something that several people touch on in different ways. Yeah. But as you and I both know, my dream of a career is to write comedy to be paid to write comedy, be a comedy writer for a living. And Los Angeles is like where that happens. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or New York City.
For the most part, I think that George Meyer went to Colorado and started Army Man, but that's an isolated incident from one of the funny people out there.
I know that what I'm about to say isn't necessarily true, and this isn't a slam on anyone who moves out of town because
people are doing that in droves right now.
It's impossible to afford a life here, and people want to have a life, but I don't. But to me, like if I were to leave Los Angeles, that feels like I would be giving up on that dream of like of making a career out of writing comedy, and that's not something I'm ready to do just quite yet. So that's kind of like, it's easier for me to say that because my family's here, like my whole life has been here, so it's easier for me to say that rather than someone who could like move back home to Idaho or something. But yeah, to me that would, like, if I had to vacate town just to like
buy a house and get a job.
Get a job like working at the Piggly Wiggly or whatever. And we know people who have moved out of town and who are way more successful in things that we are interested in doing. So it can't be done, but like, that's for me personally, that's my hang up, I guess, that's tethering me here.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good one too. This is the town to do it.
Have you tried being a PA?
They wouldn't have me, it turns out.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified to be a PA.
My first answer obviously is all my stuff is here. You and I have both been to other cities. I was in Las Vegas recently. I've been to San Diego within the last year. I love San Francisco a lot, but the history of those towns, I'm not tied to those histories at all, but I'm tied very much to the history in Los Angeles of Los Angeles, and any avenue that I want to point to, like true crime. Oh, I grew up around the corner from where the Hillside Strangler dumped a body. The apartment complex I walked by in high school was where Marion Parker was killed. Like I'm just tied to like the beat walking thing. You want to talk about sports? I grew up near Chavez Ravine where the Dodgers eventually came.
Where Chavez Ravine was murdered.
Yeah, where Chavez Ravine was murdered.
You like being a know-it-all is what you're trying to say.
I like being a know, but I'm tied to all these things. If you talk about LA history, you might hit a thing where I'm like, I know a little bit about where the Three Stooges filmed some certain things because it was down the street from my house. Or walking a path that I love and then finding out it was in a movie. I live really close to Elysian Heights where Roommate was a thing, which was like a kind of worldwide sensation for a little bit. Baxter Street is one of the sleepiest streets in Los Angeles. It's also where O.J. Simpson goes down in Naked Gun Part 2. He slides down a really steep hill. Like I'm tied to all these things, and going to another city.
Everything you're talking about is tangentially related to a murder of some kind.
All those people Three Stooges killed.
I mean, you poke enough people in the eye. You poke someone in the eye enough times, they're gonna bleed out.
I like being tied to things. And if I moved, like I really want to move to San Francisco. I think it's neat, even though like it suffers the same problems we have, maybe even more so. Or like San Diego is a really beautiful place, but I'm gonna have to move out of town to afford a life to San Francisco. I can't wait to see all that parking. But like I'm tied to all these things here, and I love the history of the city. And I love another thing I wrote down was we talk about diversity a lot in the city, and that's a big factor. But also like along with diversity is variety in everything, and not just like going from city to city and seeing like the difference between Burbank and Inglewood and
what difference?
Same thing to me. San Fernando Valley to Downey to Long Beach to San Pedro. Like I like the way each thing feels and how they're connected. So there's variety. Not only I'm talking right now like, I feel like walking down a spooky pier today. I feel like driving through the mountains today. I feel like kind of dipping into the desert a little bit. So, I want to be in the heart of the city. I want to be in Movie Town. I want to be in Booktown. Like,
so you're like a deranged Roman emperor and you want like every crazy whim of yours fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting you down, but
I have a lot of great love for deranged emperors.
I'm not putting down Caligula.
I don't want
to get canceled. But what I'm saying is like, what you're saying is that you can get like any crazy sensation you want to have, like you could find it here.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. There's some things that you can't.
Every single one. Well, have you been to Lancaster? There's a crazy sensation I tried in powder form.
I had a friend in my signing painting class who's from Colorado, and she was like, there's nowhere to hike around here. I'm like, there's plenty of places to hike. And then she said, well, this is what I'm used to. And she showed me like some beautiful mountain range with a giant, beautiful lake and a crystal blue
snow crimping in the
and I was staring at the photo. I'm like, I bet we have something pretty similar, like a D-grade version of that.
Big Bear gets pretty snowy,
but we don't have that. Sure, but we have something similar.
Everything that you're saying, like we said, like so there's so much. Someone almost said almost exactly what you just said about not quite that, but good enough.
Right.
But diversity and whatever I said,
variety
and diversity and variety, and it's all. We'll get into the end of like what everyone's kind of saying.
All right.
It's almost like LA is like an old baseball mitt to you. Is it a baseball mitt or a baseball glove?
Either is fine, but I like hearing you both struggle with it and spit up the word mitt. Like you said, it's so. Mitt. What do you mean by that though?
Like you feel, every crevice. Like it fits you like a glove. Catcher's a baseball glove.
It fits you like a mitt.
It fits you like O.J. Simpson's glove.
Almost, but not quite. And because my hand was
a little swollen. I was
a
off my
little
medication.
swollen and I'm on medication, and I.
Can you just make that noise? Oh my God, don't do that. That was scary. But yeah, what I'm saying.
No, OJ's here to stop me.
Oh no. Oh no, Jay.
Yeah. I know a lot of what I know from doing the podcast and just growing up here, but also I always stumble into places where I've never. Well, the project we're working on right now is in a little patch of San Dimas. And I was like, I had no idea that this little thing was here. And it blew my mind.
It can also surprise. As familiar, like whenever I put on the old mitt and I go to have a catch at the Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner
and a bunch of ghosts from I don't know, Civil War baseball. I don't know history.
And Babe Ruth, who's still fat in the afterlife. Yeah, like you could still be surprised by your old mitt. Another analogy going back to Halloween is like it's your spider web, and you can like feel everything that lands in it. Like you can, like, where you can find all your certain things.
Right.
And then also still be surprised.
Yes. And I like that a lot. And if I moved anywhere else, I would...
You'd have to learn that all over.
I'd have to learn that all over again, but I wouldn't be as tied to... What I'm trying to say is I'm tied. I feel personally tied to a lot of things. When we bring up history, we're talking about Paul Revere Williams, and we talk about LAX, and I think about all the times I've been to LAX and how many... I've passed that.
Yeah, it's where everything's loaded almost. Like everything triggers.
Listen to this podcast if you want to be easily triggered.
You want to get into what our loyal listeners have to say about all this? So this is our first category. Category 1, nature. This one is from Carson_Co.
Okay.
You have something to say about my categories?
Yeah.
Save that in for the category at the end of Greg's complaints. So this is from Carson_Co_ on Instagram.
Right.
They say the escape valves from the city. You're always under an hour from the beach, the mountains, the desert, the forest.
Yes.
Depending on traffic.
To kind of, I don't know if that's the end of what he was saying.
That it could be a she or it could be a they. I have no idea.
I apologize.
It might be the city of Carson, which apparently smells really bad right now.
I apologize.
So I think this person's responsible. I think this person probably smells really bad, but I'm not going to gender them or label them, except stinky.
One day, me and Ada were driving through the valley. We had to stop at my mom's house, and then we took whatever canyon road from the valley leads to the beach that you go through the tunnels. I forget which one that is. And so you climb the mountain, and then you two tunnels that you go through the mountain, and then you come down, and you're like, is that a overclouded city or waves on the ocean? Because I'm so high up, and you're so high up. I forget what that road is. But we went down that way. So we were in the hot valley. Then we go on the coast where it's windy and beautiful. And we're driving back. We take, the PCH gets us on the freeway. And in the distance, there was snow on the mountaintops. And I thought, this is insane. I don't think about it all the time, but when I find myself in situations like that, like I just left the beach and I'm looking 2 hours ahead maybe, and there's snow on the mountains. Yeah.
Nature is something that comes up like as an addendum to a lot of people's things.
Right.
Other people say it better than I could say it, but yeah, it goes back to variety of like you can have...
I like the way he put escape valve too.
Yeah.
If you're feeling like I've had too much mountains, you could go to the beach. You could go to the city. You could go to places like San Pedro, feel like a spooky ghost town.
You could go to the desert.
You could go to the desert.
There's a ranch up in Chatsworth you can wait out the apocalypse in if you want.
There's a little guy with a guitar with a lot of ideas.
Although the one weather I want, which is rain, comes like once every 3 years.
Yeah. That's a...
nature can turn against us.
This lesson in this tale of man versus nature. Nature usually wins.
You're wrong, Carson Co. That we're going to judge each one. Is this right or wrong? You're wrong.
Give it a number grade. No. A great answer, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you making me sound smart too.
This is the next category we have. Okay. Category 2.
And I'm the deranged emperor. There's a deranged quality to you where you just can't let things
You're
be.
the deranged emperor. I'm your deranged senator who's calling for order. We're both just drinking lead.
I've arranged everybody by blood type. You wanted that, right?
So this next category, vibe.
Okay.
This first one is from Jessica Fichot,
hi,
Meekly
Jessica
Music Box alumni, who you can listen to that episode on our Meekly Music Box and find her on Instagram, Jessica Fichot Music. Her answer: the relaxed California lifestyle. For me, it's a combination of year-round nice weather, spacious homes with yards compared to other cities that feel a bit more cluttered, proximity to different types of landscapes, mountains, beach, and desert, and the lifestyle that comes with having so many people in the entertainment industry. So this kind of covered both of our things and then some. But what caught me most here is the relaxed California lifestyle.
Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but then you meet people from other places and you're like, oh, we're all right. This person from this town that I'm not going to name, which is really, I love that I think I'm being a specific and like that really racist town on the East Coast, but it could be any one of them.
Yeah, which one?
I was talking about Boston.
Boston or Philadelphia? Which of the two are you talking about?
But yeah, no, there is a more relaxed quality here. And I always hear from outsiders, from people moved here, like, oh, everyone's so nice here.
Yeah,
like, how are people not when they're here?
Yeah, that kind of gets me to, like, there's, we've talked about this before of like the New York sort of attitude and personality, which I don't have a problem because I guess I'm kind of used to that.
Rude,
I'm rude as hell, and I just blow raspberries I'll blow raspberries at the Pope if he provokes me.
Butts and boogers or whatever, I'm a cool guy.
Rudeness doesn't bother me. I think I'm, of course, rude, but also high strung. I think I might be high strung. So the California quote unquote chill, relaxed vibe like doesn't really apply to me. So I'm like driving around, and it smells like marijuana everywhere. Why isn't everyone at the port unloading things?
Okay, first of all, you tried CBD oil. You're no longer allowed to judge stoners.
I have carpal tunnel
You were literally Cheech and Chong.
From physical labor, yeah.
Which my work forced me to do, and my lawyer said I can't sue them.
I have a whole car made out of CBD.
What a great movie.
Yeah,
It is a good movie, huh? Is that what you're going to say?
Almost caught me. I will never say that. I'm getting in a lot of trouble lately for saying what movies I don't like.
Yeah, I feel like you always have. And it's just dawning on you, like, people are mad at me?
What? Not everybody hates Scooby-Doo.
Literally a couple days after we were talking with Emilio about how much you hate Scooby-Doo and the trouble you got in with Casey Kasem's daughter, which was not really trouble at all. Bob Baker announced they're going to have like a Scooby. Thanks. Did everyone hear his eye roll? I heard it, and I'm not even wearing.
They can't hear it because my eyes are lubricated with CBD oil. My eyes are rolling like they've never, and I'm rolling too.
They won't stop spinning. They're like Reagan's head in The Exorcist. It's just whoa.
They're like Reagan's head, Ronald Reagan's head when he sees marijuana. Yeah, the relaxed California lifestyle. Apparently this appeals to a lot of people, but like I don't know if I really, I don't know. Like I guess because I haven't really lived like a working lifestyle, like hustle bustle in a different city. So maybe I'm just not aware of what it's like, but
I believe it. I hear it all the time.
I'll buy it. And if by it you mean CBD,
off of anybody.
So this next one's still in the vibe.
Yeah.
This is from Jacqueline Keyser. This is a lot of names I have to that I'm going to mispronounce in this episode.
Yeah, this sure is.
Her answer: I think the expectation of the unexpected keeps a lot of people in L.A. If you dislike predictability and routine, then L.A. is the city for you. Even things that should be routine, like your commute, is never predictable. One day it takes 20 minutes, next day 2 hours. Yep. You just want to go shopping on 3rd Street. Oh, look, People's Court is filming. And now you're going to be on TV. Going to grab coffee at your usual cafe? Sorry, not today, because they're filming a Netflix show there today.
I like the element of unpredictability that this person's Jacqueline's talking about.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it does take a weird amount of time and you're like, what's going on? And you're like, the president's, like, oh. Yeah. What's going on?
Which president?
Yeah, the World Series. Oh, that's why I can't get home. And then you'll be driving somewhere. I was just telling my cousin I was in a cafe in Atwater.
La-di-da.
Not to brag, but I was in a cafe in Atwater. And I don't know the actor's name. He played Spears on Band of Brothers, the one that...
Which one is Spears?
Spears is the one in I think the first episode, gives all the Nazis a cigarette and then guns them down. And then he starts getting that guy. So that guy who's like a real badass in the show. It was raining that day in a coffee shop in Atwater, and I turned, and it's the actor who played Spears. I'm like, oh my God, I like this.
And he offered you a cigarette.
And he said, step over here to this trench right here. And he was like, it's raining in L.A. It barely happens. Happy rain day. And he hugged me.
You're a war criminal.
Yeah, you're a war criminal. I know what you did.
He hugged you?
Yeah, he hugged me. And
wait, this was recently?
This was maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it was
COVID still going on 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. We called it something different back then. We called it cholera back then. No, that's one of those unpredictable things. Like one day you'll just be standing in a coffee shop and an actor that you have you really enjoyed on the show will just hug you randomly.
You always have weird, like my encounters with celebrities are either like I'm like nudging someone from afar and they know that I'm like staring at them, or it's me having a conversation with Wes Anderson.
Right. Or Steve Martin's and coming out of the building.
Steve Martin's trying to do a comedy routine with me and I'm afraid he's an old man I have to call an ambulance on because he's going to crack his skull open.
Or William Hung is walking down a hallway at CSUN and you shove me into a soda machine because you're like, Greg, look who it is.
Just as big of an influence on me as Steve Martin was, nobody can top William Hung.
He didn't even slow down his rolling backpack for you.
But you have like old college roommate encounters with weird celebrities. That's one thing that is exciting. Like I always love, less so now it's hard to do when everyone's wearing masks.
Yeah.
I've seen a celebrity, but I love seeing celebrities.
Oh, you do. And you you cannot be cool about it.
No,
you're one of those people that just...
I'm like someone's aunt who's visiting Los Angeles.
Literally, like there are episodes of I Love Lucy about how extreme you are when you see a celebrity. I remember when we were at Meltdown waiting for our improv class to start. Rest in peace, Meltdown and Nerd Melt.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. That's part of my improv.
That's part of my... I'm actually reading a recipe right now.
That's the name of our improv group. Rest in peace, my attempts at doing improv. What were you saying? Oh, yeah. I know where this is going.
Do you want to recall who came in?
Mr. Foot himself, Quentin Tarantino walked in, and you can't not react when Quentin Tarantino walks into a comic book store that you're in.
I can't disagree with you, but you were very like, oh, And I got excited too, but I was also like, don't let Quentin Tarantino. If Quentin Tarantino smells fear on your feet, then he will.
Then he will come asking for your old socks.
Can I hold your shoes?
But
what kind of socks you're wearing?
The other point that Jacqueline's bringing up is the unpredictability of your commute, which I want to bring up. I don't know if you're 100% behind me on this, but since the pandemic
This rant.
It's about William Hunger. Traffic has never been this bad, even pre-pandemic. Like I cannot go anywhere at any time of day without hitting at least one traffic jam. And I don't understand. Like I was talking to our next person about this and he agrees and he thinks it's because so many people are unemployed right now and everyone's just like driving around aimlessly. But the traffic has been so unpredictable lately and you might like that all you want. I do not like the unpredictability in traffic. I want to know like it's going to take me 20 minutes to get to work instead of I have to call them late to work again.
I must have noticed it, not in any level that my brain, or at some level deep, my brain has understood this because I have been getting to work an hour early to sit in the parking lot and eat food comfortably. But I feel like that's more a reaction to the Starbucks drive-through line that I give myself enough buffer room to make it through what can sometimes be 30 minutes of getting through.
Okay.
But yeah, I think at some level I have noticed at least in a return to the old. It is
do not
ask
worse.
me to remember anything about pre-pandemic
lifestyle.
I cannot remember now.
I don't even remember what college I went to.
What mask did I wear before COVID? Oh, the blue one, the green one?
They say you always remember your first mask. But in terms of like also predictability and just like your life and like how things are going, I kind of worry sometimes that like because like my job is kind of like it's steady, but also there's like a gig quote unquote element to it. And like this podcast of like, who's going to mention us tomorrow? Like what's going to happen? Like I worry that I'm getting addicted to like an unstable career.
That happened to me a lot during the pandemic because I was in those writing classes and I also was part of that thing to try to get people to be PAs and I was getting emails every day. And then like when we would get a break and I would stop getting emails, I would feel so empty because I'm so used to being told what to do and where to go and what to look for.
Like the carrot being dangled in front of me. Like I that's what I worry about being addicted to. And like at a certain point you have to be like, who's holding this carrot? And you look behind the carrot and it's just like attached to a donkey that's walking, that's leading you into Death Valley.
It turns out your right arm is just fake and it's your arm. And you're like, what? How many arms do I have?
I wonder why I haven't felt my arm in 10 years, however long. So let's get to the next one still.
Try CBD oil.
Let's find out who you're talking about traffic with.
My old traffic buddy and another alumni of L.A. Meekly. This one's from Carl Tart.
Hi, Carl Tart.
The official mascot of L.A. Meekly, Carl Tart.
He doesn't know that yet.
We haven't sprung that on him.
We actually...
Since we plugged Jessica Fee's show, you can listen to our interview with Carl Tart at the Coliseum and also listen to him whenever he shows up on a podcast because he's great. And watch Keenan. He writes for that, which is also great. So his answer is, it's no... I'm putting on my Carl Tart impression.
I can't tell where Daniel ends and Carl starts.
Can I speak to Carl Tart? It's November, where I get to stockpile cranberry sauce, give up on my fantasy football team, and answer the L.A. Meekly question. I'm glad that he, of all these people, have realized like, oh, this is a pattern. They ask for an answer every November. I think what I love about living in L.A. is hard to pin down, but if I had to choose one thing, it's the overall chill vibe. Mm-hmm. Everyone is moving at a pace that isn't slow like the South, but isn't so fast like the East Coast. I like that if I bump into someone on the street by accident, we both apologize to each other no matter whose fault it is. You only see Angelinos get S-wordy in traffic, which is a lot of the time, but honestly, I really appreciate car culture and driving as well. There's truly nothing like driving down the 101 or the 10 really late at night with the windows down and the air is crisp and you look out at the city and see just how far it spreads.
That is very nice.
It'd been a while since I had done this because we don't go out at night anymore, but pre-pandemic, you and I were out ungodly late, like
about 3 or 4 times
a week. 3 or 4 times a week. I don't know how we did that, but
unreal.
I get tired going to bed at 8 p.m.
Chris and Cindy's thing started at 10 o'clock and me and 8 are like, are you like that? Is the sun coming up?
Don't they know that I might have kids one day? But the few times like that, or like when we have lately we're here late at night again, those experiences lately that I've been having again, where I'm driving down the 101 or just like through the streets late at night where that's the one time there is no traffic, where there's nobody else around. Like it brings back memories to me of like, I like being out when no one else is around. There's such an appeal to that in Los Angeles.
Especially like having a good show and then taking the streets home.
Wouldn't know. Yeah, there's something very comforting and relaxing about driving through Los Angeles late at night.
Depending on the season, can take on a completely different mood. Like driving at winter at night is kind of spooky and a little bit shady, but also like Christmas trees are up and it's kind of romantic. But at summertime, everyone's kind of out. Windows are open. Your window's open. You kind of hear music everywhere. Sports is happening. Like it just feels
someone's having a catch with fat dead Babe Ruth.
But I understand completely what he's saying. And let me say that people are much nicer now that I walk around with a cute dog. I get stopped like I'm a celebrity, and people are like, "Who is this?
Do I know this dog? What are you in?
Who represents?
Do you have an IMDb bark? There should be like a celebrity dog IMDb. It should be called IMDb bark. Trademarked.
Buy it off of me if you want it so bad.
So a consensus here is the relaxed attitudes of people. Which hey, I think CBD and its naughty cousin THC and TLC also maybe has something to do with that. That's the vibe category. Now this is our first outlier answer. This is from Chriselle, aka Cryshell Jeffrey.
You know the right answer too.
Cryshell is she told me it's her nickname. So I was right. Melissa was right. We're all right. Marriage is about winning. My answer to what intrinsically LA thing makes me want to live here rather than somewhere else is freeways.
Okay.
Where else can I live and develop a parasocial relationship with a freeway? I've lived right off the 101 for most of my life, so whenever I find it again after navigating the rest of LA's freeways, a weight is lifted and I know everything's going to be okay. 101, take me home. And where else am I going to develop a serious grudge against a freeway exit the way I have with Shoup Avenue heading north in Woodland Hills? I've been forced off at that exit multiple times in heavy traffic, and I always end up in the hills crying in front of some massive house in the dark because I can't figure out how to turn around or how to get back onto the freeway from there because the layout is so convoluted.
I guess I just live here now.
I hope the houses in Calabasas are cheap. So every time I see that exit, I am filled with quiet rage. There's a weird perilous roulette associated with taking the freeway anywhere because you never know when you're going to be stopped in one spot for a few hours because of an accident or rerouted off the freeway in a strange neighborhood at 2 a.m. because of road work. That gets me.
Oh my God. They don't even tell you that your exit is closed.
No,
and you have to go
until
an extra
you
4
are
miles.
driving through the cones.
It's okay. It's 4 a.m.
No one's on the road. No one important's on the road going on. And that's a built-in adventure, my friends. Freeways, especially with all of the complex interchanges we have here, also have a fascinating sort of geometric beauty with all their gently sloping intersecting lines. There are parts of my drive that I look forward to just because I'll get to drive under or through an interchange I really like and experience a moment of reverent awe. TLDR, which I've learned from posting things online, means they didn't like your post. My answer is freeways because for better or worse, they feel like living entities in the city and I would miss them so much if I left.
That answer is poetic.
It is.
It made me want to drive right now.
It made me love traffic again. I finally reignited my love for traffic.
We did our freeway episode and you were talking about slopes and you understanding how things like, why the slope goes this way and when they're allowed to be straight for a long time. And it made me really reconsider a lot of the layout of freeways, but also like that episode that we did of our own thing, if I'm allowed to pat myself on the back, the interconnectivity. I think like I've always thought like what is the connective tissue of the city, and it's the ways we get around.
It's
and
the
freeways
nervous system.
Yeah, exactly.
There is sort of an like even if I hate those exits from like the 1920s that are like perpendicular, like a 90-degree angle, you have to get off on.
Back into it.
You got to parallel park out of the freeway. Even those are like you can appreciate those,
for sure.
And understanding them a little bit more. The 101, I couldn't agree more because I live off the 101 as well. And because we were for the special project we're working on, we were also in like the San Dimas area, and I have like even at Pasadena, like I do not know where I am.
Buddy.
Navigating like this and this, and then when I see the 101, I'm like, my brain's on autopilot. I'll be sleeping in the back seat. My foot can take us home.
Call me when we get to.
Greg, I'm gonna bleep that.
I don't know where I learned freeways so well, but I really got them down.
Where your navigational prowess?
My famous navigational prowess. I'm really like attuned to what freeways will get you where, and which ones go south and north, and which ones die out, and which ones join other ones. I don't know where that comes from, but it pretty good. I know what she's saying with, like, there are exits in Pasadena, I think, like Hill and Lake, or no, maybe just Lake, where you're expected to cross 3 lanes of traffic to make the next exit because another freeway has joined it.
Yeah.
And I just think, like, this might be it for me.
Even on the 101, to get to my bleep exit, like I have to get over the 101 like semi-quickly.
Right.
And it's I like the thrill of death. That's what
Of
keeps
teasing
me.
it. Of wondering if today it'll catch me or not.
Yeah, this is the first love of freeway answer I think we've ever heard before.
Yeah.
So let's go to our next heading, our next subgenre, diversity.
Oh.
This one is from Lifehacks LA on Instagram, which is a fun account to follow. Diversity.
Well,
That's a show, everybody. In people, culture, food, terrain, activities, neighborhoods, and more. Also the tacos. Even though the Greased Weasel specifically said not to mention the food and that sort of thing. But you touched on it. Like there is so many different things to keep you, like if you won't be bored.
yeah. If anything, there's an overwhelming amount of things.
There's too much diversity is what we've been trying to say.
Just choose 3 and we'll stick to that.
There's this book I've been reading.
They say it's pronounced eugenics, but there's an E in it. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's by Eugene something. Let's go to the next one. This is from Tyler Pease on Instagram.
Oh, hi, Tyler Pease.
Besides the obvious choice of being an entertainment industry person, I love how each neighborhood is so well defined.
Yeah.
They have their own look and feel like small cities within LA. That's of course going along with the same thing of like you cannot get bored. Like he's saying, so many different types of neighborhoods. Like, do you want like a small town sort of thing? Do you want like an urban sort of thing?
Yeah.
Those are the 2 things.
Those are the only 2 things we allow now. It must be very weird to people who aren't used to that. And people were like, oh, my city is rural or urban, but there's not like a lot of room in between. And for us, it's like, oh, we have every spectrum of both.
Yeah, you can have urban within rural almost. Like Ventura, you can be on Ventura Boulevard, which is...
In some parts, like Van Nuys is very urban. And then you can go into the hills in 5 minutes and you're like, oh, I'm so in a little small spooky town.
I'm in the Topanga Market and I'm suddenly in the Mamas and the Papas. Diversity is the spice of life.
Diversity is the spice of life.
This next one is from the real Laura Hayes. We got the real one on Instagram. Acceptance. Pretty much everyone can find their place in LA.
Yeah. If you're willing to be patient and find the right place, yeah, you absolutely can find your specific, oh, this is my thing here.
Yeah.
This is the
and
area.
And there is very specific things for everybody in Los Angeles. Like I saw something today that was like, I guess there's a dating website for unvaccinated people. Like if that's the sort of specific thing you're into, like I guess we have that too.
Think of all the bars you can't go to.
We can break into Tin Horn Flats if you want to.
Nothing fills me with so much joy than watching a city-built cage around that place.
It was a slow burn of justice.
Of all the places for it to look like an old Western saloon to get justice
this
handed
burn,
out.
It didn't char the marshmallow in the s'more, but it made it like perfect golden brown, and that s'more was delicious when Burbank finally closed down Tin Horn Flats.
We don't care what happens here. Gun. Oh no, I'm locked out of my business.
The sound effects of the gun sprayed COVID. I was talking about this with someone recently of like, imagine being like a gay person or like a transgender person in some small town in the middle of the country. You have to get out. Like you have to get out of there, and imagine the relief of coming to a place like Los Angeles and having a community that fully accepts you. Like, that's right there is that's all you need. Absolutely. All the tacos in museums can't match that.
I don't know. You're not thinking about the museums I'm thinking about.
The Museum of Tacos. This next one is from someone who is a relative of yours, I believe, Vero Mongo.
Oh, yes. My lovely cousin Veronica.
My mango. On Instagram, you can find your place in the city. Because of the variety of geographic locations, neighborhoods, diverse people, there is an eclectic collection of events, shopping, and experiences. Because of this, there is always something new to take part in.
Adventure Town. Or not Adventure Town.
Or Travel Town.
Yeah, absolutely. If I feel like we keep just repeating the same thing, but like you could go exercise in the mountains, or you can go to a bar at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, or you can go to a...
You can. I'll be exercising in the mountains.
There's so many things to do that you almost... Anytime we recommend people coming to town, like, we'll just stick to one area, because if you try to do too much, you'll be blown away. Or what is your
specific itch you're trying to scratch? Because like you kind of said before, like sometimes there's too much. There's so much going on in one weekend that I feel left out of everything.
Yeah. Especially October.
Especially October.
Especially
I could be getting
October.
fake blood sprayed on me by a 17-year-old right now in Glendale, Greg. So this next one is still in the same diversity. This is from Kenny Norwick.
Oh, hi, Kenny.
Our old buddy. To work in the industry brought me here, but also to live where the world sees in movies or TV and aspires to be. Also, the neighborhoods are so varied, you can visit one and feel on vacation. The area is so amazing. Desert, mountains, urban, beaches, and ocean, farmland. Every way you go, you're in variety. I also love the positivity. This guy's hitting all the hits.
You read everyone else's answers?
Cheater. We all still think we can make it as actors, writers, hosts, athletes, and as long as we keep trying, we have made it. My final love of LA is the diversity of its people. I lived in the Midwest my entire life and have learned more from seeing beautiful diversity working in this metro than I ever imagined. Yes, and we have some rotten racists, but as a whole, there's nothing as awesome as all the different types of people working and living together. I never want to live where there is not this much diversity again. Oh, and awesome podcasts about our city are pretty keen too.
Let's recommend a couple.
Cut out the rest. Yeah, I feel like that was a slight, a dig directed right at me of we still think we can make it.
Daniel. Well, that was, I think we had in a previous episode, talking about if you want to come here, you have to sort of be enthusiastic and you have to take a lot on the chin and be like, I'm going to keep going because I want to be a comedy writer or work in a circus or
a writer for the circus,
which is the same thing.
Yeah, I don't even aspire to work in the circus. I want to write for the circus.
Write sketches for the circus.
I don't have confidence in my performance. I can write those trapeze acts. That's another thing of I'm worried about of getting too addicted to surprises and what's next and what's next. At a certain point when how long do you keep trying? Right. Which is a conversation we have every month.
Since forever, even before we started this. But also to touch on what he was saying, there's the people who are trying to make it in the industry and people trying to make it in every aspect, but there's also people you and I know who have no interest in that stuff and they just want to lead normal lives, and they also have an abundant amount of things to do all the time, and they have their own lives, which is just that exists as well, and they don't have any conflict at all. But a person just trying to be I want to go to trade school and become a plumber, and I want to be the biggest actor in the world. Those two things can coexist, maybe even in the same block sometimes.
It could be the same person.
Trade schools.
You've seen Super Mario. Nobody had bigger dreams than Super Mario.
I want to rescue that princess and become an actor because she's my agent.
Agent Peach. There's a certain maybe foolish hope amongst everybody that in other people I'm who are you kidding? And then when I'm if I could just get Vulture magazine. Vulture magazine. I don't even know. Whatever Vulture is. If I could just get a Vulture to land on my shoulder. But yeah, there is a hope, a gamble almost, a gambling aspect to living in Los Angeles that is
exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah. It is exciting. And it's always something to look forward to. Even the people who want to be a plumber or something, they have dreams I want to live in the hills of Hollywood. I want to own a plumbing company and have a really nice house. We're all trying to win.
Yeah.
And nobody can win, apparently.
Everybody wants the gold medal and everyone should just be hey, I'm playing the game.
There's a gold shortage because they can't come into the port of Los Angeles. All right, let's go to the last one in this category. Okay. This is from Writing on the Walls _ LA on Instagram, who is his murals are great.
Oh, right. I've seen some of his work on Instagram.
Yeah, he did the ET one and some stuff. Check out his murals. So he says, growing up in the Valley / LA North, I've always loved living and going to school with people from all over the world. LA's multicultural blend with subculture, generating and influencing pop culture, and laws around Earth is another reason. Those that seem to have a lot of light and strong auras live here too. Then there's the 45 minutes from the beach mountains. Right. Suburbs. I know that we're not supposed to talk about restaurants and things like that, but the diversity that all those different sorts of restaurants reflects is so stimulating to me.
Yes.
Especially now when we're going places, but we're not doing the same sorts of things as we used to do.
Yes.
But going to a part of town that has this has a Thai market, this has an Armenian market, and just going to those markets and seeing these different cultures, food, and just things that they use on a regular basis is so stimulating
Yes,
to
it
me.
is. Yes.
It gets me off is what I'm trying to say.
I didn't want to use the word. but
I don't want to, my face is up in a few Vallartas. Don't let this guy.
Don't let him in.
Don't let him near the little cookies that look like pigs.
in lots of languages, not just Spanish, lots of them.
It's in Tagalog, Greg.
Well, that's interesting. Just like, you and I went to school. I don't know your situation. I didn't go to school with an abundance of white people.
I had barely like when I started dating Melissa,
Yeah.
my mom's first question was, is she Korean? Because like I didn't really know white people. Like
Right.
I didn't really go to school with a lot of white people.
Yeah, me neither.
And like, great. And by the way, when I say her first question was, is she Korean? It wasn't like, darkness fell in the household. Is she Korean? Like she was just wondering like, oh, is she Korean?
Before we say if we accept this or not.
No, it wasn't like that. It was just like I grew up with mostly Asian and Latino friends.
Yeah,
and
same here.
like I would want my kids to not grow up with only other white kids.
One group of people to have like a multitude of like,
To-
because everybody can be like
a supremacy of one color skin. Like, I do not want that.
because it was always interesting here talking to your friends and then being like, so like, what's the deal? And they're like, my mom came here or my grandfather came here. So you have with another part of the country, but also like, your family's from another part and and that's interesting. Just hearing like,
I'm very exotic to you, aren't I?
I feel like I'm boring. Like both my grandparents,
I'm
both my
Mexican.
grandmothers were born in California.
Yeah, but well, even like I think I was the not first Jewish person Melissa ever knew, but like the first Jewish person she certainly knew well.
Yeah. How do you feel being the representative?
Yeah, I like living up to stereotypes. I like reinforcing negative stereotypes.
I like answering all the absurd questions you have.
Yeah.
I know that
so
I come
what's
to you
a
with
Knish? How many times do I have to send you the Wikipedia article on Knishes, Greg? Obviously, it's hard. Like we talked about earlier, people want to move out to have a better lifestyle for their kids. But I would really like for my eventual children that are roaming out there someday that I haven't met yet, I would like for them to grow up in a city like this that they can be around so many different people from them.
instead of being 20 and you'd be like, oh God,
What the hell? I've never had a taquito.
But I'd like to just say real quick before we move, we're still on diversity, right?
Yeah, we're still on diversity. We're still on that. Greg and his cancel culture.
You and I, as best friends as we are, had wildly different childhoods within the same city limits.
It's
wildly
I often
different.
think about how weird it is that we are such close friends because I keep thinking like, well, Greg's dad was in a gang and he grew up with a bunch of gang members hanging around in his house. And I grew up in Granada Hills going to Hebrew school. Yeah, it's crazy that our two lifestyles have...
that we found a middle ground. And I think it's probably old TV.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of episodes of I Love Lucy brought us together.
We both wish that we were the Mertzes. You're like, oh, you're the only person on the
We're
planet.
like two wings of a butterfly, and the Ricardo trip to Europe is the body of the butterfly that connects us.
Side note, did you watch the trailer for the Nicole Kidman movie?
No.
Okay.
Do they play a slowed down version of the I Love Lucy theme song?
You know, and then it's a slow version of Babalu.
And just like like one hit on a conga drum. Okay, so let's get to the next category. Jobs.
Oh, okay.
This one, everyone wants one.
Don't know where to get them.
Not qualified for any of them.
We're just going to read entries in like Indeed.com.
Associate producer. What the hell? This one is from, there's only one in this category. This is from Jordan Tickton.
Oh, hey, Jordan Tickton.
Here's why, as a person who's currently not living in LA disqualified during the pandemic and has traveled extensively, I'll be moving back to LA for the foreseeable future. In short, jobs and access. He categorized this one even. He works for JPL, so clearly he's got a whole flight plan for this answer. His first thing is unique to LA, aerospace jobs.
Right.
You may not realize it, but LA is one of the major hubs for aerospace in the world. It's historically the heart of much of aviation. This is an excerpt from his senior thesis. It's historically the heart of much of aviation, astronomy, space exploration, and space public education. And it's not just some good stuff, it's some of the best stuff. JPL, SpaceX, the Air Force, Boeing, Rocket Lab, Mount Wilson Observatory, Caltech, Griffith Observatory, etc., etc. You name it, and there's a decent chance they have headquarters in LA. Many of them aren't just great, they're not just world class, they're best in class. If you want to work in aerospace, you'd be hard pressed to find a better place with as high caliber and as diverse of job options as LA offers.
I sometimes will take the 210 to get to Pasadena, and I'll be like, Oh yeah, aerospace is out here in the forest right there off the freeway.
This is where the dorks landed on the stage of the Mars landing.
This is where that dork was jerking off in the bushes trying to get the devil to say hi to him.
Space. A long, proud history. It's just a recording of his threesomes with not Paul Thomas Anderson. What's his name? What's Scientology's name?
L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard.
So the next thing, flights. LAX is a terrible airport to physically go to, but the flights are incredible. Atlanta may have more flights, but many of them are cargo or layovers. LAX. What?
We also have Colts there, though. No, that's not Atlanta. Denver.
That's Denver.
Sorry.
Redact that statement.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody at the Atlanta airport.
We don't talk about Denver airport on there. We can't let people know that we have 2 tickets. Oops. It's just a flight to Denver. We think we're like in the Illuminati and we're just flying into Denver. We just have a stopover.
They have a good Sbarro there.
2 tickets to the Illuminati Sbarro. If you eat at Sbarro Pizza and you throw up and you look at what's in the toilet, it's the sign of Baphomet. LAX is the #1 original destination airport, i.e. place people actually want to go to itself. It's the only airport in the country that's a hub for literally every significant airline. I've flown round trip from LAX to Europe for $230 before, and not some sketchy airline, British Airways.
Whoa, they know what they're doing. They invented planes. Right here in Ohio or whatever.
Back when Ohio was part of England. And nonstop flights round trip to Australia for $530 United. And if LAX is too crappy for you, there are a ton of other airport options in the area. Burbank, Ontario, Long Beach, John Wayne. You're going to point out crappy airports and then say go to Ontario? If you like,
it's by the big mall.
You fly out of a Big Lots.
The plane's got a lot of fake hay on it.
If you
smells like candles.
If you like to travel, LA's an amazing home base. That's true. The next part is access, like we've been talking about, access to variety of nature. I currently live in Alaska during the pandemic. Keeps bragging about it.
I got a beach over there in Alaska.
It'd be ridiculous to claim LA has the best nature in the country. This is what we were getting at before.
Yeah.
But I will absolutely stand by its access to variety. It may not have the single best in the US of any specific biome, well, maybe the Mojave Desert, but it has access to almost as good as the best versions of everything. You can easily access mountains, forests, lakes, beaches, desert, islands, snow, etc. We forgot about islands. I mean,
spooky old.
I could get a sandpiper burger. We forgot to talk about islands. We forgot to talk about
My
the
favorite
Cheesecake
restaurant.
Factory. The industry. I could work in the cheesecake industry.
I like that we both at the same time went for islands as a restaurant instead of Catalina.
Because we're hack comedians who won't give up hope.
Of course we would go for it. Word association, that's all we have. What do I have, talent?
We're nothing if not a human boggle. You can access pretty solid versions of all these biomes within an hour or two's drive, and incredible versions within a day's drive.
Yep.
California has the most national parks of any state, and
suckers,
and
eat it.
a surprisingly high percentage of our state is protected natural land. And if you include non-California parks, there are something like 14 different national parks you can access within an 8 hours drive from LA. LA itself may not be known for its nature within the city limits, but you have a car and a long weekend, you can see anything. Alaska, no question, has better mountains, but LA has better other things.
Yeah, maybe we want mountains though.
Well, how about we annex Alaska?
I love when people from other states are like, we got, Yellowstone, we have, whatever. Yeah, got Yosemite. Heard of it? There's a big rock up there.
Oh, yeah? We have Vasquez Rock.
They filmed a little show there called Star Trek.
And a little show called Star Trek Next Generation. So here's his second category. Also great but not unique about LA, lack of light pollution. Bet you wouldn't have guessed this one. Yes, LA is a cesspool of light pollution, complete with the horrifying reality that many Angelinos who have never left the city may have literally never seen stars before. But if you have a car within a couple hours drive, or a few hours if you want it even better, you can access places dark enough to do world-class astrophotography.
As long as Daniel reminds you to not look at your phone.
Dilate your eyes.
Pretty easy for you now, Mr. CBD oil, isn't
take
it?
a drop of this. It'll dilate your eyes in a heartbeat.
Don't look at your phone. You need to dilate your eyes. Okay.
We still have many active working observatories for a reason. The West Coast is just generally better for this, which is why it's not unique to LA. Go to lightpollutionmap.info if you want to see why living literally anywhere on the eastern half of the country is a terrible idea if you like seeing stars. And if you really want to be horrified, look at Europe. Not a single dark place on the entire continent, except when the plague comes by. And here's his last thing. Great burritos, possibly the thing I miss most while living in Alaska.
Yeah, I wish I could send you a burrito and it could be delicious, but I can't.
I could mail you. I don't want to spend too much money, so it will take like about a month to get there. But if you don't need it, I'll probably be offended.
I was really worried because a place near me has made the bean and cheese burritos that I've loved my entire life, that I grade all other bean and cheese burritos by. And if anything ever happens to that, I would be devastated. But I found a place on Cesar Chavez that makes burritos the way I like them. So I have a backup now. So I'm pretty relaxed. If you see me more relaxed now, it's because I found another.
Oh, have you tried? I have these burritos that I get from this store that has like grass on the outside and a big leaf. They're CBD burritos. The B stands for burrito. The C stands for cheese. The D stands for
Delicioso.
Delicioso. So look, all this burrito talk has got me hungry. We're about halfway through. Let's take an ad break right now. So go get a CBD burrito. So we'll take a little break here. We'll see you in a couple minutes and we'll get to some more of your answers.
There better be more food in those answers.
Yeah, I'm happy to report there will be. Da la 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 the llama.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly llama. And you know what that classic Christmas
jingle
bells.
Oh!
That means it's not Halloween.
Oh my God. Every line of that is...
It's Hanukkah and Christmas time. Look, if you're struggling to find... That's not a good way to sell it. If you're struggling, we've got something for you. If there's nothing left in Five Below in the 99-cent store, boy, have we got a deal for you. Well, we've got for the L.A. Meekly fan or just the general history lover in your life, we have brand new merch for you that you might not be aware of, a lot of our listeners. So what we have is a 2022 monthly calendar. 365 days of Los Angeles history is the calendar.
And what that means, we all know that 365 days are in the average year. Sure.
Thank God it wasn't a leap year, because there is not 366 days of LA history.
But just in case it's not clear, every day of the year has a different marking for the day, a different way to celebrate.
You have one in your bag, and this comes out November 1st. What is there on November 1st, just as an example on this calendar?
First Clipper game in L.A., 1984.
There you go. So, every single day has a date, an event that happened in Los Angeles history. It's an 8x11 wall calendar. Hope it's on the wall. It has all your favorite months are in there.
We didn't add any. We didn't take any away. They're all there.
No surprises here. It is $30 with shipping included. People are liking it. I know I like it.
How many do you have on your wall right now?
We ripped down all of our wallpaper, and now it's just these calendars.
There's a bunch of red string going across it, trying to link things that aren't linked.
The first Clipper game was that. If you want to buy that, you can message us on Instagram at LA_Meekly, Twitter at LA Meekly, or you can email us la.meekly@gmail.com. And then also, if for only the LA Meekly fans, we still have our shirts available.
Very incredibly comfortable shirts.
The most comfortable shirt. If you get, what does it say on November 1st on the shirt?
Last Clipper game, 2022.
The shirts predict the future.
Oh, by the way, if let's say the world ends in July of next year, you don't get
refunds.
No refunds. You don't get half the money or whatever.
All sales are final. But the shirts, they're extremely comfortable. We've still got them in small, medium, large, XL, and 3XL. Cool. Those are $25 shipping included. So contact us the same way. Buy those. Buy. LA Meekly merchandise.
Bye.
This episode is still brought to you by Smile Brilliant. If you're like me, you're a bit overwhelmed by all the teeth whitening products on the market. Stop me if you've heard this one. This sponsor has provided us with some very interesting facts once more to pass on to you, Greg. Fact 1, teeth whitening does not whiten your teeth. It removes the stains and restores the tooth to its natural color. Natural colors vary per person, but for most it's an off-white or slightly yellowish undertone.
Lots of tea. I drink lots of tea.
You think the tea is what's making your teeth yellow?
Yeah, because
we're just talking through your medical ailments. Fact 2, teeth whitening does not damage teeth, but it does temporarily dehydrate. Teahydrate.
Well, you know what else is dehydrating is drinking a lot of tea like I do.
Well, you only drink sweet tea, where it's 90% sugar.
Yeah, it's 90% sugar. There's a hint of tea. Someone dropped the bag in it by accident once.
When dehydrated, the pores in the enamel are open and exposed. Open pores invite acids and sugars, which, as we all know, leads to tooth decay. Avoid or minimize acidic and sugary substances for at least 24 hours after whitening. Also avoid staining substances, as the teeth are more susceptible to restaining during this period.
So you're saying for a 24-hour period after I whiten my teeth, I can't drink tea?
No. I know that's hard for you because you are something of a T-Rex.
I put the T in addict T.
What are we doing here? You're Mr. T. And to continue with the rhyme, fact number 3, tooth sensitivity is the result of tooth dehydration. When the pores of the enamel are open, the teeth become dehydrated, exposing the nerve to the elements. As the tooth rehydrates, this sensitivity will dissipate. To accelerate the rehydration and curb sensitivity, used a post-whitening application known as remineralization or desensitizing gel.
Does that either one of those products come in like a little baggie in like a leaf form that I can like dip in hot water?
You have a remineralization mace that you could put this stuff in. Fact 4, Greg.
Yeah.
Caps and veneers cannot be whitened because they do not have pores for the stains to latch to.
Oh, wow.
Prior to having dental work, you should whiten your teeth, restoring them to their natural color, as the dentist will be color matching to your current shade. Fact 5, the key to teeth whitening is the delivery device. So long as a whitening product is a peroxide-based whitener, it will remove the stains. What differentiates one product from the next is the device that holds the whitening agent to the tooth without interruption. Whitening strips neglect the crevices and molars, and they slide on your teeth.
Whoop. That's the sound of sliding.
Give me sound effects for all this. Saliva floods the generic trays because they are bulky and do not create a seal. I was doing a seal, you're just chewing. And you likely did not know this, but LED lights are novelty items that add no benefit. You need a high output UV light only found at the dentist. Don't fall for the gimmick. If you insist on a light that does not work, get one on Amazon for under $5. But
it's like the candles that don't blow out.
You just keep trying to whiten your teeth, but like it goes, the yellow goes away for a second and it keeps coming back. The number one whitening device recommended by dentists is the custom fitted tray. You can have your dentist make your trays for $300 to $600.
I refuse.
Or you can head over to smilebrilliant.com and use their lab direct mail-in process for a fraction of the price that you would pay at the dentist. And if you grind your teeth at night, you can also purchase the Smile Brilliant custom fitted night guards, once again for a fraction of the price that the dentist charge. So once again, that's smilebrilliant.com to get these great deals. And even better deal, you can use coupon code LA Meekly to get a special discount on your devices. That's smilebrilliant.com.
Please help me stop drinking tea.
LA Meekly is back from an ad break, everybody.
And both of us peed.
On each other. That's my favorite thing about Los Angeles. Is
nobody stops you from peeing on your friends.
You could pee on anybody. To remind everybody, we're listening to all of your answers about what tethers you to Los Angeles. So, hey, let's get back into it. We've got our next category for you. This one is... I like to act out each one.
Yeah, you do. No one knows this, but you've been acting out everyone.
I have a different wig for each one. Food and entertainment.
Oh.
Even though Greased Weasel forbade it, I'm still going to read these answers.
I will allow it, but you better watch yourself.
This one is from I am Bukowski. It took so long to understand what this username was until I finally am reading it out loud. I am Bukowski, babe.
Easy.
On Instagram, tacos. Actually, any Mexican food. I lived in New York City for 6 years and the Mexican food was absolute crap. Yeah. SoCal Mexican food is the best. Oh, and my job keeps me there, so there's that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, what do you do?
Oh, she makes tacos. So this next food and entertainment is from Waterford Beach, which is Dave, our old friend Dave Aurelia.
Hi, Dave.
If Chris and Cindy are our comedy parents, Dave is sort of our comedy midwife. Yeah. Like he birthed us into the comedy world.
His hands got dirty birthing us.
Yeah.
And it was messy.
This was not, we crowned Greg. Food, attractive people, sunsets, lots of ability to do improv and comedy as a hobby, lots of entertainment and theme park options, fun museums, great views of / from mountains, beaches, the Unfairplex. Since we're discounting all food and entertainment things, one thing he says here does have a point. The ability to do improv and comedy as a hobby.
Yeah. There are other cities where that's done, but I think that the proximity to like the industry.
But there's so many, I mean, not anymore, but like there used to be so many options. There's sort of like you and I think, because we are constantly in the rat race mindset of like, this is we got to be the best at the open mic, but you can just do it for fun.
Oh, absolutely. It started to get more fun when we found our friend group And we're
Yeah.
like, at Palladino's when it would just be like 8 of us and it was all people that we knew and were friends with.
I like
And
the thrill of winning over a stranger.
I hope a drunk straggler from the laundromat wanders in so I could win them over.
I could live off that for a week.
It found the most fun when it was just performing for our friends because it felt the most hobby-ish.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of ties back into like you found sort of your tribe, your community. But yeah, you can do that. So like you can do acting as like for fun. Like if you could do background acting just like on your day off if you want.
I mean, this is an answer from earlier. Yeah, someone here who wants to be successful at acting or writing can be friends with someone here who wants to be in the aerospace industry, and they're both at the same level of completely two industries, and they could become friends. And
I'm not friends with. They can't. What do they have to offer me? They can't advance my career.
Oh, you're gonna show me where constellations are? I can't even see any of them.
I want to see the other stars.
Angeline.
I saw her the other day. Almost lost my mind. It was so exciting. Yeah, she zoomed past me on the 101. My whole life happens on the 101 in traffic.
She zoomed past me during traffic,
while
which
I had a burrito in my in a monster truck going over everyone else's cars.
It's like a soundless ambulance. Everyone just like moves to the right, and then Angeline speeds by.
So this next one this is from Free Great Movies on Instagram. Nonstop entertainment, of course. Free Great Movies.
Of course.
From movie screenings, of course. Free Great Movies and concerts to everyday craziness on the streets. Every other American city is boring compared to LA.
In those terms, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I can only think of other couple cities.
Detroit's pretty exciting for a different reason.
How will it happen to me tonight? Movie openings and like, what do they call those? Not retro movies, but when they replay classics and stuff.
My DVD player.
Your DVD player, thank you very much.
This is our Karnak routine.
But I feel like there's other cities that do that too, but it feels more exciting here. I don't know. I mean, I haven't done it in other cities, but I've talked to people in Chicago or Portland where they have like a big movie screening or a big festival. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's an added element that ties into other things that we've talked about also, but you could go to one of these screenings and you never know who's going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was at the AMC in Burbank and 2 screens over from me, without my knowledge, they were showing the new James Bond movie, and apparently Daniel Craig and Rami Malek just showed up to like talk to the audience.
I was saying to you, if I ran into Daniel Craig at a screening for James Bond, I would still be asking questions about Knives Out.
I would be asking him all the questions I have about Defiance. Were you really in World War II?
Did you really kill a German guy for that movie?
Were you like that guy that Greg saw from Band of Brothers? So these are all good answers, but food and entertainment were forbidden, so you're all going to be docked points at the end of the night.
Ooh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, wait, no, sorry. There's one more.
Oh.
And speaking of James Bond, this is from Rebecca Nicole 007.
Oh.
Would you believe it?
Would you ever
believe it? So did you kill Nazis? They say it has absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I kind of believe that.
So here's next category. This is the second of our outlier questions. This is from LA Meekly alumni, Ada G. Ruiz.
Oh, she sounds beautiful.
Oh, what's her number? Is she taken? Not anymore.
What?
This is her answer. It's a Dear John to you. Her answer is not answering the question. This is just Ada's. Apparently, she wants to have a new segment of Ada's problems with Los Angeles Corner.
It'll fill time.
She said, and we got to stretch this episode. My response is a little more on the depressing side, but what the heck? A lot of time we romanticize LA and its history in a way that makes it appealing to outsiders. For those who were born and raised here, it's our home and we can't bear to live anywhere else because our roots are here. But others, outsiders, it's a new haven filled with opportunities in a city that seems so inviting, but these new people often ignore their periphery and only see what they want to see: the welcoming climate, inclusive culture, rich history, etc. Now, as LA approaches its new stages of post-pandemic, heavy quotes on that one, many natives would agree that it's become unbearable. The inequality that exists in the city is more visible than ever. How can a city so inviting and rich in history impose high taxes, eye-watering rent, and push homeless people off the streets? I say this in hopes to spark a conversation between the history of LA and what we are actually dealing with. What good is preserving history if the city is forcibly trying to bury it, destroy it, or sweep it under the rug? I feel like she's putting us down somehow.
Pig and whistle.
You're the pig.
You're the pig and whistle. I'm the pig. You're the whistle. No, I see clearly what she's saying. The question is, why not anywhere else? Because our roots are deeply tied here, and it makes it hard when people come here. Let's say, and they want to open up a place on Hollywood Boulevard, and they don't care about the pig and whistle, and they buy it and completely tear out everything that made it historic and cool, and that's a problem.
Yes, but then what does she like about what's keeping her here?
Her roots and her love of the city and its history. Unfortunately, the history isn't being preserved to the max.
That's not the Los Angeles I know.
But I agree with her. I love.
Yeah, no, of course she's right.
Yeah.
As both of her boyfriends were obligated to say, of course she's right. But she really hit the nail on the head that it is, like I was talking about, like it is becoming kind of unbearable post-pandemic. I don't know I do not know who's, I'm not pointing any fingers. Like, I don't know who's responsible for that, but the traffic, the high prices of things, like it's
becoming unlivable the way I've always said San Francisco, or everyone has thought San Francisco's unlivable. There's no room. Everything's so expensive. There's no parking. Those have for a long time been the stereotypes of living in San Francisco, and they're all true now about LA. And they weren't true maybe 10 years ago. They weren't true.
And it worries me that like there's no going back from this, because like who's going to, if you're charging me $15 for a burrito right now, like what incentive do you have to lower that back to $10 or something?
I mean, when people stop buying it.
Yeah, but will they?
No, I don't know.
Because there's so many people that have money and spend it
on burritos that I want. And I love that we're talking about, once again, food with you instead of why do real estate developers just buy up all the land and build houses?
Let's not blame them. Let's not point any fingers.
That people we say can't live in, but once this rich person who's renting moves out, how easily do you think you'll be able to fill it in with another rich young person?
Easy.
I guess you're right.
Very easy. Like, look at my building. It was.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now you're all influencers there.
I am a influencer by proxy. Like everyone, they renovated it, quote unquote renovated it. We've had no hot water for the last 4 days. Great renovation.
They painted old paint on it. They had old paint that was wet, and they painted the building with old paint. So they used old paint to paint with old paint on an old building.
And this has been Greg's old paint. This has been Greg's first sign of dementia. But yeah, like they quote unquote renovated it, literally doubled the rent, and people took it. Yeah. Like there's young people who just have money. Like there will never be a lack of 1% people who have money. Like there will always be a 1%, and the rest of us are see you in Lancaster. See you on I'm going to be living on the music road.
I've said this a couple times through this podcast, but the LA and the West and Southern California are all like the siren calling everybody out to drown them.
Well,
we have everything.
It's the foolish hope that we are apparently addicted to. We love that.
It's not just like, it's weird because it wasn't. We think sometimes it's in the entertainment industry or whatever, but it was oil before that. It was boosterism before that. Gold. It was gold before that.
I forgot you're not wearing headphones, so you can't hear me yelling gold at you.
Gold, Greg. Buy, sell. It's always been something. It's been the air before. It's always been the thing that's drawn people to us.
I came here for the tuberculosis.
It's always drawn people.
Well, I guess what Ada's trying to say is that can we get back what we like, the roots that are keeping us here? Like, are the roots being rotted? I don't know. Like, can we preserve that?
Yeah, I mean, like, when does it become unlivable for people?
When is this just the theme park?
Yeah, exactly.
Like Manhattan is.
And yeah, when do the people who've grown up here can't afford to live here? We all have to move out, and it becomes truly a city of only transplants.
I'll say it again, like Manhattan is. I don't know, and it scares me. Like, I don't want the pandemic. Like, moved us forward 3 spaces in terms of like I'm still on go. Like I don't want to be on. We're on Madison Avenue already. Is that a spot on Monopoly? It's Ventnor. Okay, we're on Ventnor.
Knowing Daniel, you want to play a full game to length to be like, there is a Madison Avenue.
Let's just pause this. Okay, so let's get to the next big category. Hollywood.
Oh,
this one is from Bionic Dave on Instagram.
Oh, hi, Bionic Dave, who gave us great suggestions for earthquake.
Yeah, he did. Which
we should probably read later because there was an earthquake yesterday morning, and then one I think last week or something crazy.
I'll read it after the big one. We'll have time then. Oh no, I dropped my emergency pack and it shattered. So he says, for most people, it's the fantastic weather plus the excitement and glamour of the entertainment industry, and for a segment of those people, those who think they've got talent. I feel like so many people are directing these at us.
You're taking it.
This is strictly business, and you're taking it very personally.
Very personally. What am I trying to say?
You're Sonny Corleone, and I'm Michael Corleone, and I'm about to kill my own brother. Spoilers. Hollywood is also like a casino. They might hit, like we were saying, they might hit the jackpot and win fame and fortune. They might win a chance to rewrite their life story to reinvent themselves. True. So many people, like throughout time, so many people have come here to that. That I think is a big appeal to people, is that you can become a different person. Mm-hmm. You can move here and become Angeline.
Yeah, and you could also we always say rich and famous. You could also just come here and work your whole life and be Clancy Brown. You know what I mean?
Who's Clancy Brown?
Clancy Brown's a well-known actor.
Who's Clancy Brown?
Oh my God. Clancy Brown is the security guard in Shawshank Redemption. He's also the bad guy in Carnival. He's also the voice of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob.
Oh, okay. You could have started at SpongeBob.
He's a great actor who's in, I feel like, everything. But you can be Clancy Brown. You could be somebody who like, oh, I know him. He's in this and this and this and this and this, and you don't know the name Clancy Brown. You know what I mean?
Who wouldn't know that
You
name?
could be Dick Miller. You can be somebody who works your entire life and not necessarily be rich, like famous, like, oh my God, Brad Pitt at art gallery, but you can be like Dick Miller. You can have that too.
But even that is still winning the jackpot. Like if you are this mythical Clancy Brown, like you've hit the jackpot. Like
I guess so.
Like people, you can live your life normally, but also you live on SpongeBob money. You live in a pineapple under the sea.
There's nothing better than SpongeBob money.
But yeah, like we were saying, it really is a casino. Like we are, it's a Larry Flint casino.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to hit the jackpot. We're addicted. We have become addicted to the carrot dangling in front of us from our own arm that we need CBD oil for.
Every time I go to any other city, I'm always super self-conscious about, especially like something tourist. Like I just came from Vegas, and it's the tourists versus the locals. The locals work all the jobs there. Mm-hmm. The tourists will come and just get drunk and throw up in the street. And I always look down in places like that. Or you go to Hawaii and you're like, oh, this is the tourists versus the locals. And I'm like, what's it like to live there? I know what it's like to live there. Like I live there, but it feels a little bit different here because I feel like we have a weird third thing: the tourists, the locals, and then also the people who came here to make it. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
No, I was playing the SpongeBob theme song in my head.
I feel like nobody moves to Vegas. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. It just feels like something's masking the idea that this is a purely tourist town that's a casino and a theme park and it's all magic and games. Like there's like a third element that hides the fact that it's nakedly that. Los Angeles is clearly a tourist town full of tourists.
So you're saying we are Las Vegas, only we pretend like we're not?
But there's a shroud that makes you forget sometimes that we are clearly just a big tourist. Now, maybe if we were just talking about Los Angeles versus Hollywood, and Hollywood is that.
Anyway, this metaphor is getting way beyond.
It's not even I guess it is a metaphor.
You said shroud. There's a metaphor.
I'm just talking about tourist towns, and I forget that I live in a tourist town. It's a tourist town, but there's something about it that makes me forget. Maybe it's only apparent to tourists that it's a tourist town because I'm a local. I see it differently. I know when I'm around a lot of tourists, and I know when there's times where I just don't feel like I can be at Santa Monica Pier, and I don't feel like I'm surrounded by tourists.
You live in the theme park.
I guess I live in a theme park.
You're a Disney cat.
I'm a Disney cat.
So this next one is from Sarah Lai on Instagram. I like dabbling in the industry and just being near it. That's another thing of like I was saying of like I'm so close. Like if I move far away, then I'm not close anymore.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, they're gonna see me on an elevator and give me a job.
Yeah, they're gonna see me in traffic on the 101. This next one is from Eric Daly on Facebook. I'm sure a lot of people will say you gotta love celebrity sightings. We said that. Yep. I know I do, but recently I took the time to contemplate the question: why am I so excited to see Zachary Quinto in 4 Cafe? The conclusion I came to is that there's an unconscious feeling that if he's an ostensibly important person eating in this restaurant and I too am eating in this restaurant, then perhaps I'm also an important person. There are so many important things, quote unquote, happening in the city, some of which truly are important, some of which only give the appearance of importance, and deciphering between the two is often impossible. So being in this city gives us the sense, whether we're baristas or movie moguls, that we are important, that we matter, that we're part of something meaningful.
Right.
That's a really valuable feeling that we all need. But then, of course, the great disappointment of the city is that what seems so important really wasn't, that you just spent the best years of your life making Hobbs and Shaw. And therein lies the complexity and fun of our city. It's so awesome and so disappointing at the very same time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think what we've been trying to, your whole metaphor about the veil and all that.
Yeah. Wonderfully constructed, by the way.
My Pulitzer Prize winning metaphor. I think he crystallized it of like being so close to it, being tangentially, I live 5 minutes from Warner Brothers, but you don't work for Warner. You, even if you work for Warner Brothers, like you're not Robert Pattinson.
In that same field, like seeing a celebrity who's in a movie, it's like, oh wow, astounding. And then you sometimes be at a party and you talk about to like a gaffer who worked on the movie, and it fills me with the same like, oh, you were there when they were making that. Like it's the same thrill.
Like when they were filming the Paul Thomas Anderson movie in front of our building.
And you spent the trailer looking for your apartment?
Yeah, I rewatched the trailer many times trying to see the back of my building. I think I did. But seeing just like from my window of like, that person is painting the license plates that are going to be in the movie. I can't believe it. But like, who cares? Like she could be painting like What do people paint?
Old paint on houses.
She could be... But yeah, she could be like doing anything, but like the fact that she's doing this mundane thing for a movie seems so exciting, and she's a part of it. Like I'm sure this person felt like I'm a part of Hollywood, and she is a part of Hollywood.
She's at the end of the day, she just painted license plate numbers onto something,
but it still feels important
because that person will be in a movie screening of it and see the close up of the license plate and be like,
that's me. I've made my mark.
I can tell that story at parties now.
Yeah, I will be showing my grandchildren that scene. Only that scene.
And I love that. I love that aspect of working, and like you are also a part of this thing too. It's not just Paul Thomas Anderson's glory. It's also the lighting person's glory.
My building is in that movie.
I built that building with my paycheck. I talk about the street that I live near Baxter Street, and anytime it's in any movie, or even it was in a cartoon, that's me too.
It makes you feel like you matter.
Yeah, that's me.
He said it exactly.
Me too, though. I said it too.
Tell me the thing about the veil again. Okay, so moving out of Hollywood, which I hope not to
which
do.
Everyone is right now.
The third outlier question that we have, this is from William Schmilliam on Instagram.
Great name.
I can't leave. Someone stole my catalytic converter off my truck. Feels like the CCR song about being stuck in Lodi. We both had catalytic converter scares. You might have had your catalytic converter stolen.
Someone broke into my car and took my fog machine, and they broke all of the
KKKs took my catalytic converter away.
Once the car starts, I'll know if I lost my
I don't know why this whole catalytic converter thing is happening. Everything's drugs with you. Okay,
you take a little bit of CBD, and now you're defending all the drug addicts in the world.
How am I going to pay for that ointment without your catalytic converter? I have carpal tunnel, Greg, and it hurt to steal that catalytic converter. So this is our final major category we have here. Opportunity / home is where the heart is.
Okay. Opportunity is different than jobs for you?
Yeah, it is. You and I have opportunity. We do not have jobs.
Fair.
So they're not mutually exclusive.
Fair.
This is from la.rube on Instagram.
Hi.
I've always known LA as a city of opportunity. Growing up with immigrant parents, that's what they told me their reason for moving here is. As time has passed on, people I've met over time from all over the place have told me that they needed change and or an opportunity, and LA seemed like the perfect place for that.
Yeah.
I know Hollywood and the film industry has a lot to do with it, of course, but besides that, people come here to, I don't know, become something better, I guess, or whatever they think that is. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
Reinventing yourself, and also, from as my perspective as an immigrant,
you can make it happen here.
And if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. But there are so many different industries that you can dabble in and try to spin that roulette wheel. Yeah, it's not just Hollywood. Like you could be trying to get into aerospace or something. Like you don't know if you're going to get it or not.
Trade Tech saw all kinds of people coming from all over the world to be in that class just to learn how sign painting from Doc. That was another thing that was like, that had nothing to do with, well, sometimes you end up in the industry, but like that was just people coming all the way over here to learn from a class. And then some of them stayed, some of them went back home with knowledge. There's something about here where you can come here and you can be a sign painter if you wanted to.
Yes, you can reinvent yourself in Los Angeles. This next one is from I.am.dave.luna on Instagram.
Dots spelled out, or were they the dots?
Wait, let me. I had.
It's an image of Dot from Animaniacs.
Yeah, I got this mod on my keyboard, so whenever I do a period, it's Dot from Animaniacs. I love the sense of community. People talk to each other here. I had to move in 2012. My last experience that I had as part of the community was when the grocery store stopped providing plastic bags and we were made to bring reusable ones. I was at the store and me and this guy were looking at each other holding our tote bags and shared a look of, can you believe this S word? No words were exchanged, but we still knew what each other was thinking. I love those moments.
Yeah.
Well, every place sort of has a community, but even like, I don't care, but I don't care about community.
You're going to be the Dodgers?
I'm going to bring up the Dodgers because when they lost a couple days ago, I'm sure in your household there was a deep sadness.
Yeah, it was very quiet.
Yeah, a lot of cities do have that. But
Dodgers are better than everybody else.
The Dodgers are better, except the Atlanta Braves. So this next one is from Kinky Control HQ. Oh dear.
Whoa.
On Instagram. I've lived all over the world and find it easy to adapt and thrive, met people and create new scenes, but I guess I keep coming back to SoCal because I was raised here and there could be far worse fallback plans. Food, entertainment, and art are key to me. The built-in friend structure from having been born here also helps with networking and collaborating in person, building things, projects, businesses, ska bands, literal physical structures, which is something telecommuting will never be able to replicate.
Absolutely.
This is more on the home is where the heart is sort of thing.
And that's roots. And then your roots are so deep here that going somewhere else, it wouldn't feel right.
Yeah. Like I can't imagine leaving my family.
I mean, I think about it all the time.
And sure, they've been pushing me too.
I mean, I lived up north for a while, and you lived in other places. But
but we came back.
But we came back. All my stuff is here.
You keep bragging about how much stuff you have.
Wow, he has stuff. Back up, everybody.
He has a car that got broken into. He has a lot less stuff now. This next one is from Caterwauling on Instagram.
Hi.
Because I've survived it this long. Part of it is
Hell
just
yeah.
despite those people in places that are constantly raining S-word on LA, even though we're very populated by those people from those places. But also the light here feels like true light. Like this is the only place where you can see colors as they were intended. I think does she do CBD?
Possibly THC?
Possibly TLC?
Yeah, no, that sounds beautiful the way this person put it.
That's a unique thing.
Yeah.
We haven't heard the light being.
Yeah.
We do have great sunsets from pollution.
Every time part of the state is on fire, we get great sunsets. and it smells like a smell of a barbecue in the air.
The next one is from art_agency_Los Angeles on Instagram. It's the only place that feels like home. Everything just feels right here. The people, the attitude, the layout of the city, all the space, and having the ocean and mountains both right here with us. The weather, honestly, mostly it's the weather.
Is there ever a part of the city where you go to and you feel like, and both of us feel like we could live anywhere, but do you ever a part of the city where you're like, this is like a home to me? And it's like your first time being there and you're like, I can make this feels, there's something here that I recognize as like homey.
No, I'm something of a wanderer.
A railroad drifter.
I kind of like we were in, actually, I'll be talking about this later, but we were in a certain part of the eastern reaches of Los Angeles County. And I was shocked by how like, this is really nice.
Yeah.
Like this is, if it didn't feel so far away from like what I know, like it feels so far from the valley.
It's
like,
a different valley. It's San Gabriel Valley. Yeah, downtown Monrovia, just driving around there. I was like, oh yeah, there's something about this, like the activity, or West Covina too, where my cousin Lizzie grew up. We go down the main drag, and every time I'm there, I'm like, it feels like the scenes filmed in Erie, PA, in That Thing You Do, when it just looks like an old main street, and all those old main streets left over
I could
from
be
the
working
60s.
at this washing machine store when my band gets played. When I finally hit the lotto, and I can quit the washing machine.
But there's so many stretches of the city where I'll end up, and I'm like, I think that I grew up here. I don't know.
Yeah.
On Point Furman, I think I grew up here in the bushes.
I grew up in this old lighthouse. So this next one is from one of our new batch of Patreon supporters that I thought was related to you, David Gonzalez.
Hi, David Gonzalez.
My parents immigrated to the area from Mexico in the 70s because it's where people they already knew and or looked like were already living, a pre-built community. It's probably the same reason I'm still here. Can't imagine living somewhere else and being the only brown person in the room. Yeah. Also, nice weather, year-round access to mountains and the outdoors, donut shops on every corner, that can't be understated, burger shacks that also make pastrami and tacos, carne asada get-togethers with the extended family on weekends that may or may not include mariachi or some other live music, swimming pools, walking around is pretty easy, craftsman bungalows, ciclavia.
Yes, we agree with all of those.
The backyard mariachi family carne asada family gathering is something I have always wished I was a part of. I never have been.
Is that not what Alberto does?
He does, and I love it. Every year he does, but it's still just like that's as close as I'm going to get, and it's great, and I love it every year. We just eat a bunch of carne asada for like 9 hours. The biggest piece of carne asada you've ever seen.
And you're like, that won't fit in my mouth, but it ends up in your body.
We all
somehow.
start on different quadrants of it, like he's saying. It's just, it's home.
My dad's side of the family is even split even further into other branches, but the West Coast Gonzalez's in Santa Monica would have mariachis in the back.
West Side Gonzalez's.
West Side Gonzalez's would have mariachi bands come over, and they would like bury meat in the ground with a fire pit.
What? Oh, okay.
It was that whole thing. I'm like,
and you had to, it was like a scavenger hunt?
It was one of those things that you had to be like, we would have to do shifts all night. I only did like twice in my life, but it was like, this is like a completely different vibe than what I'm used to, because we just get like oldies blasted on a bad radio, and then someone's drunk and cooking bad meat.
We forgot where we buried the meat.
I'm just talking about my specific house that I live in.
And David Gonzalez might have been there.
He might have been there. I don't know. I have a lot of cousins.
So the last one from this category is from TRH Cabana, CBD Cabana 3 on Instagram. I don't think I could ever move away from LA because it's all I've ever known. Fair.
Roots.
It's roots, man.
Roots, man.
And this is the final answer we have for the whole episode. This one is from a very special person. Greg's mama.
My mother?
Because LA is cool.
She's absolutely right. She's 100%.
Couldn't have put it better. Oh, and also because I want my son to move.
Why won't he leave?
That sums it up. What else do you want to know, Greased Weasel?
You want to know what my mom thinks about some other stuff?
We're starting a new podcast with Greg's mom. Okay, so in the end, based on the consensus of what people love about LA, who is LA best for? From what I'm gathering, people who want unpredictability in everything but the weather.
Yeah.
People who want variety and diversity in everything, including the landscape. People who have foolish hope and big dreams and careers, and also Mexican food.
Yeah.
That's who LA seems to be for.
There's a
and
lot
that's
of
why-
burrito and taco talk.
Yeah.
And you know what? Gosh darn right.
You can tell us not to mention food all you want, but it's all we know.
It's such
Intrinsically
a part of
yeah,
the
it
city
is.
that you can't go without mentioning.
You can't. But yeah, I think that sort of distills it.
Yeah.
Unpredictability, diversity and variety, and Mexican food, and maybe foolish hope and making it big. That's how I feel.
That's probably boiled down. That's what the city, the inner workings of the city, and even the people that, like the boosters or anybody who moved here, even
They were selling that
Yeah,
dream.
and the 11 families that came here from Mexico were
The old burrito crates that they used to send out to other parts of the country.
the 11 families that walked here or whatever from Mexico. I wonder what they are coming for. And it was probably just like, yeah, we want to reinvent ourselves up north.
I want to work in aerospace.
I want to
That's what
work
they
in
said.
aerospace.
I want
and
to
they're
invent
like,
airplanes. I want to work for Elon Musk. That's what the Pobladors were saying.
my name is Ignacio Wright, and I'm the third Wright brother.
The Derecha Hermanos. Well, if you want to be a Hermano to us,
Yeah.
you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you have an iPhone, just press the app and leave us 5 stars. You don't even have to leave us words. Just leave us 5 stars. It helps us out and makes us more visible and more respectable. So we like that. It really helps us if you haven't done that already. Same on Spotify. I think you can leave reviews, but you can look at our YouTube channel.
Yep.
Just look for LA Meekly on YouTube.
We have full episodes. We have some video segments. We have each segment of every episode cut up. So if you just want to hear one part of it, if like, let's say your favorite part is like whatever Greg talks about, you could do that. You can make a whole playlist of whatever Greg talks about.
Yeah, those don't get a lot of views.
Our website, lameeklypodcast.com, is up. We have a full archive of all our episodes.
And the segments.
And segments of every category, and a little bit about us, and a little bit about what we're like.
And a little bit of Monica by our side. You could follow us on Twitter at LA Meekly, or our personal ones. I'm at DM Zaffron.
I'm at Twitter is Grego_Gonzo. On Instagram, I'm Grego Gonzo.
Our Instagram is LA_Meekly. To close out the show, we have got a listener question.
Oh,
We've
they're
heard your
asking us
answers.
questions
I'm
now.
sick. The nerve. I don't want to hear what they have to say anymore. I want to talk now. It's our turn to talk.
I'm a question guy.
So this one is from the aforementioned Caterwauling on Instagram. What are a few neighborhoods in LA you were surprised to learn exist?
I should have done research for this one.
Let me tell you the one, because I was alluding to it before, because we were just it's like the old town of Laverne. And there's like these beautiful old like Victorian craftsman buildings on these like really nice tree-lined streets. It felt like I was in Maine or something. It was really, really shockingly nice. Shockingly nice for a place that isn't, where I live.
How could it possibly be nice?
And I mentioned this place before, but that area that I think it's called like View Park, Windsor Hills.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, like really nice old houses on that hill above Crenshaw with a really nice view of downtown. But in terms of just places I had no idea existed, period, Bradbury.
Oh, right. Bradbury is a place.
We were out for the project we're working on. We went to Bradbury. I still don't know what Bradbury is.
I thought you left that to me, and I looked it up on a map. Like, it's near because our dog park is in San Marino, and sometimes we'll just go a little bit further and kind of go wandering until we hit Covina and then turn around. But yeah, Bradbury, I hadn't stopped there. I'm like, is he making this up? Is there going to be like a...
I left a copy of the Martian Chronicles on the side of the road. Welcome to Bradbury. Gotcha.
Yeah. I need you to go to Lee Brackettsburg. I think that the one that surprised me the most is kind of venturing into the San Gabriel Mountains, taking Angeles National Crest Highway up, or Azusa Road. I was buying gold leaf in Azusa, and I was like, where's the, I had like an hour to kill. So I'm like, what goes out? I just want to see what it kind of leads into. Because sometimes you follow a path into the San Gabriel Mountains and see something really nice.
You never come out.
And then found like a beautiful, like, there's trails there, but making it to the top and then overlooking this beautiful, I don't know if it's a lake, it's a body of water. And it's gorgeous. And you're like, oh, I didn't, like, sometimes you sneak into the mountains and you'll be like,
there's also like weird little hidden villages. Like I found out in
the canyons.
In Topanga Canyon.
That's what he wanted to do to Topanga and the Boy Meets World, right? Am I right? Hey, high five. I know you're really far.
Yeah, there's just like weird little, like even in
pockets.
Calabasas, like there's that weird old town thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just weird little villages almost around.
I took my dad to Pomona. I love Pomona. And we were out there at the whatever university out there. He's like me. He wanted to take the streets back. I'm like, can you do it? He's like, you just go down there. And we were talking about it a little bit. And we just took the streets back, and you just pass some, like, it's a little bit farmy, and then you pass City of Industry, and it's just like gross and industrial. And then you go that way, and you end up kind of near Monterey Park. There's lots of little pockets that I had no idea about, and you get, like we're talking about this whole time, about variety and diversity. I can be in 20 different cities on one stretch of road.
So yeah, that was our listener answer November episode. We hope you we crystallized. It took all of our brains to sort of Power Ranger. What do they call it?
Voltron?
No, that's Voltron. What's the power? What's it called when all the Power Rangers come together?
I know it's called a copy of being Voltron.
Let's just say that we all Voltroned.
When they all go Power Rangers.
We all came together and sort of came up with hopefully a clearer picture of why we are all here.
Yeah.
So, enjoy. That was our November episode. We'll see you in a couple weeks for our next music one. But if not that, enjoy Thanksgiving also.
Yeah, please.
Eat a few giblets for me, as I wish every Thanksgiving to all of our listeners. Save a giblet for me. And that has been yet another episode of L.A. Meekly,
insisting that food is the answer to everything since 2013. It is for you, I know that.
Here we go with the body shaming.
If we talk about any problem, you immediately how does it relate to food?
Look, you're going to come at me for my metaphors about food, Mr. Vale of Hollywood?
Oh my God. He has CBD oil and he can't stop eating all the time. He's always been like this?
The only reason I'm not ripping that head off your head is because I am doused with CBD right now.
This is the chillest I'll ever be.
I'm so laid back right now.
As soon as I'm done in my drum circle, I'm going to rip your head off.